welcome back to my channel. I'm Hannah Witton and I have a stoma. I talk about that a lot, and one of the questions I get often is, what is my diet? What can and can't I eat with a stoma? And this video is sponsored by Audible. First of all, what is, how, why a stoma? A stoma is an artificial opening in your body. The specific one that I have is called an ileostomy. So it comes out of my ileum, which is the end of my small intestine. So a little bit of my small intestine sticking out of my body. I've got a bag on top to collect waste. Different foods and diets may affect people differently, especially if you have a different kind of stoma. So ileostomy versus a colostomy, different stuff going on there because different parts of your digestive system are there or not there. But this is generally my situation and what I eat with a stoma. And this video is going to come to you in 6 parts. Part 1, post-surgery. So immediately after surgery and then in the first 6 to 8 weeks of recovery, my diet was a lot more restrictive because I had this new digestive system and it kind of had to get used to me putting food in it, and I couldn't just go hard from the beginning. We had to ease our way back into food. So we went from having no food, nothing, starving, only liquids, and then like soft foods, so soup, also kind of a liquid, yogurt, jelly, ice cream. This is a great hospital diet. And then from soft foods, we kind of like built up onto more foods, but that were still soft. So like sandwiches, banana, toast, cereal, I don't know why that counts as a soft food, but it was fine as long as it wasn't super fibrous. That's the trick. This is going to come up a lot. Low fiber. So you know how you could just Google like, what's a healthy diet? And all of these things will come up, all of these articles, all these videos, da da da. And a lot of people will be like, make sure you eat lots of fiber. Well, my doctor was like, no, do not eat lots of fiber. For me, with colitis and with an ileostomy, and for other people with inflammatory bowel disease, a high fiber diet is not good for us. And I just want to take this moment to say that when it comes to food, people can get really sensitive and really evangelical about diet, and there's no one size fits all. You do not know someone's medical history, so do not recommend me diets. Thank you. Thanks. So once I was allowed to eat foods, low fiber basically meant no green vegetables and no raw veg or raw salad type things. And you know what? Yes! Doctor's orders to not eat vegetables. Thank you very much. So my diet basically consisted of meat and carbs. It was a full stodge diet. I was allowed to eat root vegetables, so like carrots and potatoes, but with no skin, and they had to be cooked. So they were soft. Boil away all of that fibre. My mum made jokes about the fact that I was clearly born to have a stoma because childhood Hannah, and also kind of still adult Hannah, this is like her dream diet. I have the palate of a 6-year-old, and then doctors are telling me that that's okay and actually what's best for me. Yes. So after that initial 6 to 8 weeks of this like pure stodge, low fibre diet, I was allowed to start integrating things back into my diet. And to be honest, I was kind of craving some greens. I did want some vegetables. So it was just like little things at a time. So like a tiny portion of really boiled, really cooked broccoli, and then like waiting for a day to see how my body reacts to that and going, okay. And then like trying another thing. So that process obviously took a while, but I can eat most things now. This is the notebook that I had with me when I was in hospital and post-surgery. I just made lots of lists in here of questions to ask the nurses and the doctors when they came around to see me. And in it is foods to ask stoma nurse about: baked beans, raw carrots versus cooked carrots, potato skin, hummus, strawberries, peppers, refried beans, pickles, bagels, processed meats, fast food, lentils, cucumber. It just says olives update, chicken liver pate, innocent smoothies, garlic bread, pizza, salmon, smoked salmon, cooked tin tomatoes in bolognese, pizza sauce, pasty/pie. I want you to know that I was also like off my face on morphine when I was making these lists. Oh, I also had a list of things that I wanted to eat or restaurants I wanted to go to once I got out of hospital. Burgers, Five Guys, Shake Shack, Byron, cheese and onion crisps, Jammy Dodgers, Oaxaca, Wagamama, loaded fries, penguin chocolate bar. Real specific, that penguin chocolate bar. To give you a bit of insight into my palate and the things that I enjoy, there's your lists. And so this brings us to part 2, my day-to-day regular diet. I pretty much eat an omnivore diet because I'm an omnivore. I'm a human sapien, homo sapien. Omnivore. But there are a few ways that I still keep my diet quite low fiber. So when it comes to options of carbs, I will always go for the white over the brown / wholemeal. So I eat white bread, I eat white rice, I eat white pasta. I do not touch the grainy, seedy stuff. And to be honest, it's just an excuse for me to do the thing that I already wanted to do. I used to opt for brown bread because I thought that would make me look good and look healthy. And so now I have this like medical excuse to actually pick the thing that I really want. I struggle with a lot of the what I eat in a day, what I eat in a week type videos because they just seem far too healthy for me. And part of me thinks that can't be real. That is not their real diet. They are doing that for show. And I don't really see many examples online of people who have diets like me where like we're fussy eaters and maybe our diet isn't super healthy but it like works for us. Everyone is here with their freaking quinoa and avocado on toast and sourdough bread and I'm like, no thanks. I like avocado, that I like. And their granola for breakfast and I'm like, I don't even freaking like granola. I find a lot of those videos very aspirational rather than relatable. For me, personally, maybe I'm a 27-year-old woman who needs to grow up and stop just craving chicken nuggets and chips, but sorry. So one of the funny things about my day-to-day eating is that Mona, that's the name of my stoma, she like wakes up once I eat breakfast. So as soon as I put something into my body, it's not that, obviously, that is coming out because it doesn't go through that fast, but it's more like it just wakes up my whole digestive system the moment I put food in my mouth. And so she'll be like silent and quiet in the morning and like chill, and then as soon as something goes in my mouth, she's like... It's a great time. I love it. Friends, if you're ever at breakfast or brunch with me, like, you are more than welcome to like put your hand on my stomach like as if it's a baby and like feel it bumping and farting. So my partner Dan is the cook of the house. He cooks most nights, and then if I'm ever cooking, it is usually from one of those like pre-prepared meal boxes where they send you the ingredients and stuff because I need recipes. But those things are pretty varied in terms of, you know, the vegetable content. It's pretty good. But I just make sure that I pick recipes that don't have like brown rice or brown pasta or whatever in it. Wholemeal, brown, I don't fucking know. Part 3. This is a typical day for me of what I would eat. Granted, being super realistic, you will notice that I do not get my 5 a day. I need to work on that. Good morning. So I don't always have breakfast. I tend to just eat when I'm hungry. Sometimes I start work first and then I eat, but this morning I'm hungry. My go-to at the moment is a cheese toastie, and someone yesterday told me that cheese toasties are a lunch meal. Here's the thing, I don't like breakfast food. I don't like cereals. Like, the only kinds of breakfast foods that I like are the ones that you could just eat any time of day. I wish I could eat like dinner for breakfast. Sometimes I do. But anyway, cheese toastie is a breakfast meal for me. Deal with it. Maybe left that in there a little too long. Cheese toasty, look at. So I'm gonna have lunch at the YouTube space because I'm speaking on a panel there for this event all about productivity and planning your YouTube content. I get to talk about organisation, I'm in. But yeah, they normally like have a platter of food for lunch for people attending, so let's see what there is. So I got a bit of a weird mix. Obviously crisps, and then the wraps, I'm not 100% sure which ones I picked up. I'm hoping the duck one and then like a sweet potato one. And then we got some ouzo vegetable thing and a Greek salad. I just love cucumber and olives and feta, so just a lot of that. Oh, and 3 grapes. That plate wasn't quite enough food, I'm still hungry, so we're moving on to the ham and the cheese. Coming to the YouTube space is really bad because, oh my god, they just have so much free food. I forgot to mention in the actual video, fizzy drinks with a stoma just make it super gassy and farty, but I won't stop. I can't stop. I just love Coke so much. And then chocolate. Sorry, not sorry. We are back in my kitchen because it's dinner time and Dan is back from work and it is my turn to cook tonight. We are having a gnocchi sausage vegetable thing. But first, as I mentioned at the beginning, this video is sponsored by Audible. Now, I love Audible, and when I'm cooking is like one of the times when I listen to audiobooks the most. So like cooking and other like housey things like hanging up the washing or taking down the washing or cleaning and things like that. That is like my prime time for listening to audiobooks and I love them. If you are an Amazon Prime member, listen up. For a limited time only, you can start your Audible membership and save 66% on your first 3 months. That is $30 off. So it's basically like getting 3 months for the price of one. You'll pay just $4.95 per month for the first 3 months, and then after that, it's only $14.95 per month. And this offer is only available in July, so until the 31st of July. With your Audible membership, you get 1 free audiobook per month and 2 free Audible originals from an ever-changing list. Like I said, I listen to audiobooks a lot. I think I mentioned this in a previous video that I was listening to Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, and since then I finished that and I listened to Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow by the same author, and oh my god, I cannot recommend enough. Homo Deus is kind of all about the future and like speculating what that will look like for humankind, and he talks about like 3 different areas that humans are going to try and like conquer basically. And so one of those is happiness. We want to be happy, we want to be able to like measure happiness and like how do we increase our happiness, how do we be more happy. The other is immortality, living forever, living longer, beating death, and then the third is deity. That is basically what Homo Deus means. It means human God. We destroyed God and now we are trying to be God. So that kind of goes into like the superhumans element, and there's loads of stuff in Homo Deus that I found really interesting about AI and automation and what that means for a lot of job industries and occupations and things like that. Would recommend. And I listened to both Sapiens and Homo Deus on Audible, and I would highly recommend the audiobooks. Audible is great. You can listen anytime, anywhere, whatever you're doing, whether like me, you just do it around the house when you're cooking and cleaning and whatnot, or if you're like out and about, walking, hiking, camping, I don't know, whatever you do. So visit audible.com/Hannah Witten or text Hannah Witten to 500 to get started today.
Yum, 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 yum.
Part 4. These are the things that I avoid. I do not eat these things. And this is just generally what was recommended to me by medical professionals. No nuts, no dried fruit. These things are super fibrous and can potentially cause blockages in my intestine, which would not be good. No, thank you. The only time this ever really becomes a problem is if there is a food that I'm eating that has raisins in it, because then I have to pick out the raisins. But other than that, I just avoid dried fruit and nuts. Another thing that I avoid is desiccated coconut, and that is because I received an email from someone saying that they had it and they got a blockage because of it, and in my head I'm like, oh, I can kind of see how that would happen, because you eat the coconut and then it's like oil in a drain pipe. It all like clogs together, it like sticks back together in your system and cause a blockage. I ain't risking that. No thank you. You ain't clogging my pipes, coconut. An obvious thing that I avoid is sweet corn. See, even you folks with functioning colons, you will see that sweet corn in your poo. I just do not touch sweet corn anymore. The one thing I miss is corn on the cob. I love like just buttering some sweet butter on the corn, and but I'm scared to do it, so I don't do it. Sad. And then the final thing that I avoid, and this is because of experience, is mussels. Now, I have not seen anything else online from other people about how their ileostomy reacts to mussels, but this has just happened to me twice now, and so I'm just gonna be like, mussels, you're on my avoid list. But basically, I'll eat some mussels, and then that night I feel really sick, like I'm gonna throw up, like I feel like I've got a dodgy tummy, and it's not food poisoning because Dan also ate the mussels on both occasions and was fine, so I'm confused. So I feel like I'm gonna throw up, but then I don't, but Mona is like going for it. She's like spraying, she's like going so fast in the bag, it's almost like very liquid vomit, but going the other way. I don't know what it is about mussels that makes my digestive system like speed up. It just goes like so fast and makes me feel sick. But luckily Mona does the being sick for me. And then when I have to get up in the middle of the night to empty my bag, it is like full and heavy and liquid. And she's like, psh, 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 psh. And that's happened with mussels. And we've yet to test it with other seafood. Any insight out there from anyone else with an ileostomy and has had problems with mussels, please let me know. Part 5. The things that I need and I actively try to eat / do. In terms of your full digestive system, every section has different roles. Your large intestine, your colon, which is the thing that I had removed, is the place where you absorb water and salt. And that is why without a large intestine, my output is very liquidy, and yours, if you have a colon, yours comes out like a solid poo. Because all of the water has been absorbed and it's now solid instead of mushy liquid like porridge. So I have to drink a lot of water. I get dehydrated real quick. And then salts. So the doctors and nurses basically were like, just sprinkle extra salt on your food. But that is not a habit that I've ever gotten into. So I find that really difficult to remember to do. But the other thing, they were like, crisps are real salty. You can eat crisps. I was like, yes, I love crisps. So I eat a lot of crisps to up my salt intake. I'm just like, it's doctor's orders. I'm allowed to eat these Pringles. I'm going to eat this entire tube of Pringles. Okay, maybe I do take it too far, but salt, I need salt. And then the third thing that I have to do is chew my food. Now I know that that is like general advice that your parents give you growing up, like make sure you chew your food properly, but seriously for me, like I have to chew. I'm a real slow eater these days. I have to chew everything down to make sure that there are no big chunks going into my system that could potentially cause issues. Chew. Even with my chewing, there is still a lot of stuff that comes out into the stoma in pieces that I can visibly see. And I'm like, huh. And that brings us to part 6, which is the weird stuff. If you don't want to hear about my poo, click off now. But I know a lot of you do, because this stuff is cool and weird and kind of gross, but it's cool. So I can usually see my foods that I have eaten coming out in my stoma bag if it is like in the slightly higher fiber category. So I can eat like fibrous foods now because I've like adapted my body and I've like gotten my intestine and my stoma used to that kind of stuff. But you can tell that my body can't digest it because it comes out. So these things are mushrooms. Anytime I eat mushrooms, and to be honest, I don't really like mushrooms very much, but when they're like in stuff, I can handle it. Oh boy, no matter how much I chew, bits of mushroom coming out, it is kind of revolting. Sesame seeds. So if I have a burger and the burger bun has some sesame seeds in it, there's all the seeds, all of them, because obviously you can't like chew those things, so those sesame seeds coming right out. My body just does not digest this stuff. Olives. I bloody love olives, so I eat a lot of them, but they're quite fibrous, and so like little bits of the olives will come out in my output. Any kinds of beans and pulses, so the skin on like red kidney beans or baked beans, or what's the white ones called? The skin of those will be in the output because I can't digest that shit. Spinach. Oh, super fibrous. I don't know how pieces of spinach that big got down my throat. I thought I was chewing. And there it is. This just string of spinachy green covered in shit. I told you this would be graphic. In the same vein as spinach, raw salad leaves. So if I'm having a salad or there's a salad in a burger or something, dem leaves. Chili, little bits of chili, body can't do that. But luckily, if I eat something spicy, my stoma so far doesn't burn like an asshole if I do eat spicy foods. But my asshole never burned when I ate spicy foods anyway, so maybe I'm just immune to that. But I can 100% see the chili. And then, these are just 2 other very strange ones. Fish fingers. If I eat fish fingers, my output stinks. Is real bad. It like smells of fish and poo. When I eat like fresh fish, nothing. Fish fingers. Frozen fish fingers. And then the final thing that is weird is Flamin' Hot Cheetos, like the ones that you get in the States where they are like bright red. My output is red. The first time this happened, I thought I was bleeding out of my stoma, which is a bad sign, and apparently you should go to like A&E or like call 111 and just be like, I'm bleeding out my stoma. That is not a good sign. But it was flaming hot Cheetos. Some people have told me this also happens to them with beetroot, but I don't like beetroot. But I can imagine, I can see that happening. Oh boy, yeah. Ooh! Fun. So there you have it. That is what I eat with a stoma. Thank you so much for watching. I would love to hear in the comments if you have a stoma or a different medical condition that affects your diet and what that means for what you eat usually. Please do give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!